media are a natural environment, like the real life, are the same things. I don't think there is a clear distinction between real life and virtual world. I mean, bodily, we have in a bodily perspective, we have an autopoietic closure to the world. I mean, we create a rapport between the self and the world constructed by form of representation. These forms are form of representation that live in the real world and in the virtual world in the same way. There is a coupling, structural coupling. I don't know if you know structural coupling. Is a process of biological processes described by Maturana and Varela. We have a structural coupling with our environment. And media today are an environment, more clearly an environment. This is in my perspective, the media environment is a context where we construct our life. We can consider this context only like or simply like a form of representation of the world. Yes, it's true, this aspect is true, but we create our identity constructing ourselves through environment. Media are one of our environment.
So,
I don't know if it's clear.
So thank you, Giovanni. Yesterday evening, you expressed some perplexity on the Italian situation, artistic Italian situation, and so we said maybe here there are Italian artists, and so I would like that you could express your perplexities, and let's see if some Italian artist can answer to you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not so much of a perplexity, but it's the sense of I guess living and working in middle, central, northern Europe, where we are confronted with what myself and some of my colleagues call the mediocrity of the cultural class. So, and maybe my Italian colleagues who live in the Netherlands can back me up on this of the type of cultural context you have when you live in a society where politics are boring. So, and there was this phenomena, especially in the late 1980s, in sort of near Eastern Europe, maybe in Hungary and probably in Czechoslovakia, was also the case that there was this desire towards boring politics. It's only when politics becomes boring that life becomes easy. But when life becomes easy, then also we have a challenge towards our artistic context. And when we peer into Italy, and we're looking at a lot of the artistic practice here, we're confronted by many more, let's say, extremes of expression. You know, I mentioned that there's incredibly rich and sharp hacktivist projects and artworks coming out of Italy on the one hand, and at the same time, most of the academic system tends to be quite traditional and conservative. So there isn't this type of Middle European mediocrity, and at the same time, given the extremely let's say hardcore modernist history of Italy in terms of art and culture, I'm interested to see how that sort of hooks in and trickles into the academic environment. I think Naba is maybe one of the few places that expands and breaks out of a lot of these quite traditional molds that are in Italy.